Hi, it's Rob from the Hillsborough Public Library, and if there's two things you love as much as I do, it's science and disembodied frozen ice hands. Today's project is for the 5th through 8th graders coming from our kits, and let me show you how we can make a refreezing ice lantern out of a few simple things. Check it out. So for this experiment, we're going to use a glove. Your kit, if you get it from the library, will have a balloon, but I figure there's plenty of these around, so it's very easy to fill it up. What we'll be doing is starting with some regular lukewarm or cold water. Actually, a little bit warm for this step in the process will actually help a little bit. Pour some of that into a glove in order to fill it up. The beginnings of our frozen ice hand. Next, you're going to want a little bit of salt, table salt, or sea salt will work. We're going to try to imitate ocean water here by increasing the salinity or salt content of the water in this glove or balloon. Let's go ahead and add some of that. A teaspoon is probably all you need. And then we will mix it up, agitate that by rustling it around and mixing it a little bit. Once we have that salt water, what we're going to want to do is freeze it. And salt water has a different melting point than fresh water. You actually need things to be much colder to freeze salt water than you do ice water. So we'll tie that off. Make sure it's nice and firm and nothing's going to leak there. And then we'll toss that into the freezer for our experiment. When it comes out, you'll have a nice frozen piece of ice, saltwater ice, that's going to be very, very cold to the touch. Go on and feel that. So let's go ahead and open it. If you're super strong, you can probably rip it. Otherwise, a knife or scissors will do. So let's just cut that a little bit and peel off the latex or rubber layer of your ice hand or balloon. And we're going to make that into our lantern. And it's totally okay if you lose most of your fingers. We have a nice kind of design here. If you're doing this at home, your kit will come with a candle. You can, somewhere in the freezing process, use the candle to push down into the ice before it's completely frozen to form a divot or a hole to sit that upon. We didn't do that with this hand, so we're just going to have to try our luck with how that ends up. And if you need fingers, they make great ice cubes. So the next step is going to be with our little fizzing color tablet there that should be in your kit. What you're going to want to do is add a little bit of water, and this color tablet is made up of solidified baking soda and a little bit of acid. And when those two things mix, the acid and the base, they have a reaction. And this also has a little bit of dye. So when we do that, we pour it into water. It's going to fizz and release that color. I did a red tab in a red bowl. Let's see. There, if you can see that reaction a little bit better. As that's fizzing, releasing carbon dioxide gas to sort of bubble the water and distribute that color around there. A fun little piece of science just in that little tablet. I have some prepared colored water here because as that's having its reaction, it takes a while to disperse all of that, as well as adds a little bit of heat. And we don't need any more heat to add to our ice structure at the moment. So at home, you'll wait for that to finish fizzing, cool down a little bit. But this, we have some dyed water ready to use. Because this is made out of regular old fresh water from the sink. It has a higher melting point than our saltwater lantern that we're going to use. So when we begin to sort of spoon that over, let's go ahead, put that in here. we'll spoon a little bit of our colored liquid onto the lantern, it will actually freeze or refreeze on our ice. And the color makes it so you can see that process happening. Where the color is sticking there is where it is freezing again onto our salt water. Because our salt water has a lower melting point, around 20 degrees or so Fahrenheit versus the 32 with regular tap water, you'll get that freezing effect when you pour one on the other. Do you see where that color has taken there? Also, once you have a little bit in a bowl, like we're doing in the red bowl here, you can go ahead and just dunk it in, and it'll form a little frozen layer where it submerges. You leave that for a minute, and then when you pull it out again, you can see where it's frozen along the bottom. You can kind of see those lines. There's even high water marks where it begins to freeze on there. But we are not done. We've got more to do. So you can essentially paint with ice on your refreezing lantern, and then if you've made that divot through which to hold your candle, you can then light it like a lantern. Let's see. Sorry to all the fingers in here. If we can do that here. Yeah, there's a nice little spot there. See, we've colored our clear water. It's got a little bit of blue. It's got a frozen layer of fresh water on the outside, and our frozen extra cold salt water layer on the inside. Let's see if we can light it. Now at home, always, do this with supervision and be extra careful, because fire, as always, can be dangerous. So we've got our candle lit. You can try this same process, making an experiment. Try different salinities, that's the salt content of the water there, and see if one melts faster than the other, or if you can freeze more color onto one than the other to make it an experiment. You can also see how quickly it melts. Try it with fresh water, that's water without any salt in it. See if it melts slower or faster. Or try dipping in different colors to make designs. I hope you take something away from this frozen lantern and you try this experiment with our kits at home. I hope you enjoyed this experiment about freezing, melting, and salinity, and that you feel comfortable trying science like this at home. We'll see you next time. Goodbye.